What's up? What's up? What's up? How are
What up,
you?
Trey? How you?
Good, good. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today. I'm the managing editor of Chat on Act, and we've been following this project for so long. And we're a week, less than a week out
Yeah,
from premiere, which
yeah,
which seems crazy because I feel like we followed it for so long, and then now it's finally here. So
yeah,
I
man.
can't imagine being in your position right now, with the world about to see everything that you worked on. So, first off, I want you to take me back to the moment when you first got the call that you landed the role, and how does that feel, being able to be in this point now where you're doing press a week to go, and the contrast between those two moments?
Man, I would say that those two people are vastly different for sure. Man, I've learned so much over these past 5, 6 months that we've been filming about myself, about the character, about the artistry, about the craft. And so a lot of people don't know this. When I got the when I got the part, I actually thought that I was going into audition. So
Oh.
I did the final right. I did the final producer call, right? And my
Mhm.
manager calls me. He said, "Hey, you should hear something in 3 to 4 days." I'm like, "Cool, cool, cool." 3 to 4 days go by, didn't sleep. Right, didn't hear anything for 3 to 4 days, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't get the call. I came this far, didn't get it, didn't get the part. That's all right." Fifth day rolls by. Morgan Cooper, our creator, his assistant Bernardo, he calls me. He says, "Morgan wants to do one more creative session." Right. And I'm like, oh, I got all my sides lined up. I'm like, I don't know what they're looking for, but I'm gonna give them everything they got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so, uh, so I got on that call, everything's ready, and I press go, and there's Will sitting there. And I thought it was a pre-recorded video because his camera is so clear. You know what I mean? And and so he's like, but it wasn't. He was like, "Oh, what's up, Philly? What's up, Philly?" And I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" This is just crazy, man. I'm stunned at this point. He's like, "I want to congratulate you. You got the part of Will in BEL-AIR." Right. So I got the role, called my mom, crying, screaming, called my dad, crying, screaming. Then I went to sleep. 2 days later, I'm out in LA. I'm doing fittings. I'm doing camera tests, right?
Mhm.
First time in front of a 30-man camera crew. They're all looking at me. I'm the lead of this show. I'm like, how the hell did I get here? You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah.
week after that, we're back in Philly. We're filming episode 1. We're filming the pilot. And I'm like, man, why me? Why me? Why did they choose me? And there was a moment where I spoke with Morgan, and he was like, man, when we met in Philly for the first time, I knew it was you. I knew you had the role, but I had to, I had to go throughout the whole process. And
Mhm.
just to know that he saw something in me, it made me lean onto my own intuition, my own instincts, my own upbringing, and lean into that and give that into the character. Because, when you think about the original Fresh Prince, Will was just being authentically himself up there. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like, he
yeah.
wasn't trying to be anybody else. And so, I had that realization through Morgan's conversation early on in the process. And so, I've been going ever since, man. And I can tell you, I've learned so much about, everything. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned with filming is that, the camera is just another scene partner. Right. And so
Mhm.
you know how to give the angle and stand on the mark, but also be free in that. And it's
Yeah.
it's it's been super eye-opening coming from a theater background.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, because exactly, this is your first major acting role, and also your first on-screen credit. So, do you think there's a particular pressure associated with being the new Fresh Prince, and then this is basically your first, I guess public debut, but like the first time many people are going to meet you.
Yeah, man. And yeah, you know what? I don't feel too much pressure, honestly, because at the end of the day, it's like, comparisons are inevitable. That's something I
Mhm.
can't control, right?
Yeah,
Like, we know what we're doing. This has already been done in the 90s, but we're taking it. This is a dramatic retelling. We know that exists, right? And it's like, there's no way that we could capture that was a lightning in a bottle. You know what I mean? That was a
yeah,
sitcom in the 90s, and it was very comedic. This is a dramatic take. And so I definitely had to lean on to what I know, live in the circumstances, live in the stakes. You know what I mean? That's happening in this 16-year-old young man's life, and the stakes are high, right? Live in those circumstances, and so I definitely don't feel too much pressure. Growing up, people have told me like, oh, you sort of resemble Will. You kind of have some of the similar mannerisms. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I'm perfect for this, man. I just
How would you describe the relationship between Will and Carlton, there's like this big, I guess, culture clash happening. I feel like Will kind of goes into it more so with an open mind, but then you have Carlton who kind of, has this new person in his life that, he has to get along with, he doesn't know, and their family, but he doesn't know how to navigate it. How would you describe their relationship, especially at the end of the pilot, and then how that kind of evolves as the season progresses?
Right. So, Will is a fish out of water, right? When he gets to BEL-AIR, and Carlton is a king of his circle, and Will is so unapologetically himself, and so that they're it's inevitable that they clash, just given their perspective and their different upbringings. They have different ideas about the world, and so Will and Carlton's dynamic when they first get there is electric, man, and it's something that is definitely going to take some getting used to for the two characters, and it's going to be interesting to see how their relationship evolves, and how they learn how to coexist in the same world. Right. And it's a matter of perspective. And I think it's going to be exciting to see two different perspectives, and to not say like, hey, this one is better than the other. You know what I mean? And to open that conversation up. So as the relationship progresses throughout the series, it'll be super exciting to see them come together as one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And there's also a lot of callbacks in the first few episodes. Like, Will references the theme song in one line of the pilot. And then there's also a scene. I was like, wait. Yeah. And then there's a scene between you and Adrian that's very reminiscent of, a lot of poignant scenes that happen between Will and Phil in the original series. Yeah. So just how would you tease the dynamic as well between Will and Uncle Phil too?
Well, like Uncle Phil is, he's always giving wisdom to Will. And Will recognizes that, and not having a father figure in his life, he's not keen to that at first. He doesn't understand that sort of dynamic, and so he sees it as threatening. But I think throughout the season we'll see them grow, and we'll start listening more to Uncle Phil and say, okay, you know what, I will take everything in stride, and I will take hold of the opportunities that are in front of me, right? Because I think when Will first gets to BEL-AIR, he's like, I need to get back to Philly immediately to fix the situation, and just to get back to everything that he knows, because when you're a teenager, everything is life and death. Yeah. And it's the truth. It's the truth of the situation, that why he moved out to BEL-AIR. It's literally life and death. And so with Will and Phil's dynamic, it'll be great to see them grow. As that father-son dynamic, even though he's not his father, but that father figure in his life. Yeah, it'll be great to see Will recognize that and to accept it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on this launch. I know it's going to be, a big weekend for you. Just take it all in stride. And I know everyone is so excited to see this series premiere, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I feel like this series is probably going to be a good reintroduction for so many people who may not have, last time they may have seen you was in Let It Shine. So what do you hope that both the new fans and old fans of yours will be able to learn about you now that you are Hillary Banks?
Man, such a good question. Thank you for the compliment. I really hope that the new people who come to find me through BEL-AIR really look at my journey and take from my journey that what's meant for you is for you, and that the worst thing you can do for any passion you have is give up on it. I've been in here a long time, and it's been a long road. And I hope that people can see me and see my highs and lows, and know that the lows don't mean you're never going to get to a high again. It just means you have to keep going. That's really what I hope, is to inspire somebody else who's pursuing something that at times is really difficult. And then I really hope they fall in love with the relatability that Hillary has, because I'm really being myself. I'm really myself. I'm really determined. I'm really confident. And Hillary is all those things as well. So I hope they fall in love with that.
Yes. And Olly, next for you, first off, a disclaimer, portions of our conversation are going to be released after certain episodes air. So feel free to speak to certain storylines, spoilers, not too many, but, a little bit where people, get an idea for the episode after they
Do we have
watched.
approval for that? Is that word? Okay, cool.
So with that being said,
because I was like, "Are you trying to trick me?"
I'm not,
I was like, "Yeah, okay."
I wasn't trying to pull an okie doke. But in episode 3, we do see things kind of come. And I wouldn't say to a head because we don't know. I don't know where the season's going yet. But we see that Carlton kind of reaches a point, and we know that the transition with Will being there has kind of been rough on him. And the audience knows, and we've been told that, Carlton's been through some things, but we really don't know up until this point exactly what that is. So what can you speak to just Carlton's dynamic with Will through the first 3 episodes and kind of where you see the character going as the season progresses?
I think the thing that's so beautiful about Carlton and Will's relationship is that they end up finding strengths in each other's differences, right? And as the season goes on, they find ways to work together and solve problems, and only using things that each other know. And Carlton comes to lean on Will a lot in the way he deals with his anxiety, in the way he deals with his substance abuse. But also, I think the story of Carlton is that of so many kids in America today, not just Black kids, but just so many kids that of dealing with anxiety and still trying to push through and, be your own person in this world. And, Will really allows Carlton to lean on him in a lot of those moments. And I also think it speaks a lot to masculine relationships and how young men, specifically young Black men, relate to each other and emotionally lean on each other. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. And Akira, for you, how does it feel playing Ashley Banks, an iconic character, a fan favorite from the original series, or so I've heard? Because I think I was maybe just born when this first came out. I know you probably were like way later than that.
Yeah, I'm like 10 years after the show.
way after that. But I'm sure.
Wow.
Dang, that's crazy.
But I'm sure that you did, have watched the show and have been able to, look at Tatiana's portrayal of the character. So in general, how does it feel just to be in this moment as Ashley Banks, and anything that you wanted to bring to the character that was new?
Ooh, it's an honor to be Ashley Banks. Just knowing how many people love the original Ashley, it just resonates with me that people are gonna love my Ashley. I just wanted to bring more of a modern spin to Ashley with more modern circumstances and issues that people actually go through. I want people to find something that they can relate to in her, because I don't know, just bringing up more modern issues just helps people find something that they can relate to. So.
Yeah, awesome answer. And for a question for all of you, there are so many, reboots, reimaginings, whatever you call it. I like to call this more of like an update, because I feel like it's similar, but it's also so different from the original series. But because of the stigma that happens to be attached to reboots sometimes, a lot of people may come in with preconceived notions like, oh, I know what that's going to be about, or, ideas like that. What do you think would surprise people, both new fans and old fans, about this new version of this series?
I think there's so many.
Yeah, there is a long list of things.
Sorry,
you can go.
Do it.
I was just gonna say that we take a lot of risks in these storylines just to be authentic and to be modern and to be transparent. And I think that'll be a pleasant surprise for the people watching, because whatever preconceived ideas they have about the show, it's really nothing like them. I'm just excited for people to see storylines that would have them a little shocked. I know me personally.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by my storyline.
Because I keep saying, treat this like a different show. It is such a different show, and it might as well be called something else, but just the characters are named. You know what I mean? But it's a completely different show.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people kind of compare it to the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but like it's literally not the same. It's just the same characters. You're just digging deeper into bigger issues and basically opening up their journal and
Because the
finding out what
DNA
they're
of those
really
characters
about.
is there. It
Yeah.
really is, but it's
It is, but it's a whole nother dynamic of the show.
it's been mutated. It's been put through a nuclear reactor,
Yeah.
and it's been mutated because that's how DNA works under nuclear radiation.
Scientists.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you three so much for this chat. And I can't wait for everyone to see this show. I can't wait till I get the rest of the episodes because I need them. So
Word. Let us know what you think.
Yes, but thank you all so much and congrats in advance on your launch.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
one.
Bye. Have a good one.